Episode 40, he kissed you in front of me goodnight, I love you. At the same time, public opinion on the internet underwent a miraculous reversal. Heavens! What did I just see? I need to go to the bathroom and eat 3 caddies of shit to calm down. One might be a hacked account, but now even Lu Tingxiao has reposted it. Can it still be fake? Shengshi Entertainment actually signed Ningxi. And even Lu Tingxiao is involved. I can't understand this world anymore. Since Lu Tingxiao reposted it, it means he must be aware and even agrees with Shengshi's decision. Lu Jingli might have been temporarily blinded by desire, but Lu Tingxiao definitely wouldn't be. So, there's something fishy about this. Right, there must be something fishy. Shengshi might have a big move coming up next. Let's wait for the twist. I won't say anything, I'll wait for the twist. I staunchly support my male god. In short, after Lu Tingxiao's repost, the initially overwhelmingly negative public opinion was instantly pulled back. All the fans started maintaining a neutral stance and gradually began to regain their composure. Ningxi scrolled through her Weibo, finding this series of changes truly remarkable. Indeed, the intervention of the Demon King was extraordinary. Mainly, Lu Tingxiao's image was just too perfect. Since taking over the Lu Group, he had never made a wrong decision. 5 years ago, during the economic crisis when many companies went bankrupt, only Lu Group stood firm and even surged ahead. Basically, what he said was like an oracle, no one doubted it. At the same time, in the living room downstairs at the Lu residence, Lu Jingli was rolling around on the sofa, holding his phone. Damn it. What the hell are these idiots saying? What do they mean by, I might have been temporarily blinded by desire, but you definitely wouldn't be? Damn it. I'm wronged to death. I'm wronged, and I'm wronged like Lady Doe. While he was howling, Ningxi returned. Second young master, I heard you howling all the way from inside. What were you saying? Nothing. Lu Jingli immediately sat up, not daring to speak of his grievances. Just now, Lu Jingli had rolled hundreds of times without even looking at the phone, and Lu Tingxiao immediately looked up from his book, back. Did you meet Lin Zhizhi? Ningxi nodded repeatedly. Yes, I met her. Sister Lin is very nice, exactly the type I like. She looks displeased and cold, giving a very reassuring feeling. This sentence seemed fine, but why did it make him feel so uneasy? After saying that, Ningxi immediately glared at Lu Jingli. Second young master, you're too impatient. Why did you announce my signing with Shengshi now? Lu Jingli had the expression of a wise and martial young master as he replied, of course, it's to add fuel to your popularity. Look at how famous you are now. Everyone is discussing you. Ningxi chuckled, hee hee, if it weren't for Lu Tingxiao saving the situation, both of us would have been scolded as adulterers by now, you know? At these words, Lu Jingli finally showed a somewhat guilty expression and mumbled quietly, let them scold, the truth will be revealed tomorrow anyway. He expected the fans to scold, but he didn't expect them to curse so harshly and even think in that direction. Just now, after his brother saw those comments, his face turned green. Now you can post on Weibo to announce tomorrow's press conference. Lu Tingxiao reminded. Okay, I'll post it now. After Ningxi posted on Weibo, Lu Jingli immediately reposted, and soon after, Lin Zhizhi also reposted. At this moment, the phone screen flashed, indicating an incoming call. Jiong Mai. Hello, Jiong. Ning Xiaoxi. You actually signed with Shengshi? Why didn't you discuss it with me first? Have you even seen the emails I sent you? Jiang Mai's roar came through the phone. Aren't you busy? I didn't want to disturb you. Besides, what does this have to do with the emails you sent? Jiang Mai's voice was just too loud, so Ningxi awkwardly smiled at Lu Tingxiao and walked away to answer the phone. Behind her, Lu Jingli rubbed his chin, giving his brother a meaningful glance. Brother, it seems someone is trying to trip you up. It's a pity. We're both in love with the same woman. Fortunately, I don't like this type of woman. TSK. Love rivals were terrifying. On the other end of the phone, Jiang Mai was almost breathless with anger. You still haven't read the email until now. Sorry, I forgot. Is it something important? I thought it was another prank video or something. Jiang Mai took a deep breath and said each word slowly. You. Now. Immediately. Horsey. This second. Open. Your. Email. And. Check. What. I sent. You. Do not. Hang up. Now. Open. Alright, I'll check now. Ningxi helplessly opened her computer, logged into her email, and found the email Jiong Mai had sent her. She then downloaded the attachments. The attachments contained a picture and an audio file. First, she opened the picture. It was a screenshot of a WeChat conversation. "Ah, my precious grandson is so cute. Ah, my son is so handsome. Tingxiao, who picked out the clothes for little treasure? Is it that girl you like? I knew you couldn't have picked out clothes of this style. Look at how bright and beautiful the colors are. Unlike you, always wearing drab colors, making little treasure all dull. This house really needs a woman. Did she take the photo too? Not bad. Damn, my future sister-in-law is amazing. She can even make you wear such colorful clothes and willingly take pictures. I gave you a set before, the colors were similar to this. You looked at me with such disdain, criticizing my aesthetic taste." The people in this conversation were clearly Lu Tingxiao, the two elders from the Lu family, and Lu Jingli. "Have you seen it?" Jiong Mai urged. "Yeah." Ningxi nodded with a complex expression, then clicked on the audio file. After a rustling sound, Jiong Mai's voice came through. "Uncle, what do you mean by your attitude towards Ningxi?" Then came Lu Tingxiao's voice, "My attitude towards Ningxi." "Yes. Don't you think your attitude towards Ningxi is strange and ambiguous?" Jiong Mai questioned. Lu Tingxiao's voice was lazy and dangerous. "I believe I've made it clear enough. Since you still don't understand." Hearing this, Ningxi's heart suddenly jumped to her throat, as if she could feel the anticipation in Jiong Mai's heart while waiting for Lu Tingxiao's answer. What would Lu Tingxiao say? Waiting for 3 seconds felt like waiting for 3 centuries, but finally, Lu Tingxiao's voice came through the audio file. He said, "Understood?" Ningxi was puzzled. What was going on? Understood what? Just as Ningxi thought she might have missed something, she clicked to replay the audio, and Jiong Mai's cold voice came from the phone. "No need to listen again. You didn't hear wrong. He did say only 3 words. But before he said those 3 words, he kissed you in front of me." What? Ningxi's expression froze. "Why don't I know about this? That night you were drunk, it was the night of the crew gathering to welcome me." Jiong Mai reminded her. Ningxi finally remembered. It was the night she mistakenly entered the private room and was harassed by Zhu Xiangqing. Later, it was Lu Tingxiao who personally escorted her back to the crew's private room and asked her to wait for him to go home together. After that, when she saw Lu Tingxiao completely unconscious from alcohol, she had no memory of what happened next. Jiong Mai must have had that conversation with Lu Tingxiao at that time. Seeing that Ningxi had not responded for a long time, Jiong Mai, who didn't have much hope to begin with, became even more disheartened. "Still don't believe it, right? I know these 2 things are not solid evidence. You could think the screenshot is Lu Tingxiao just pacifying his parents, and the audio recording didn't even capture the most crucial part. It's hearsay?" After a while, a sigh came from the other end of the phone. "Jiong Mai, whether I believe it or not doesn't affect my decision to sign with Shengshi. Even if he has some feelings for me, he won't cross the line, misuse his position, or force me to do anything. Besides, even if he is interested in me, it doesn't change anything between us, and he won't force me into anything." With these words, Jiong Mai knew it was over. He never expected that Ningxi's trust in Lu Tingxiao had reached this level, even though they had only known each other for a few months. Ningxi continued, "Thank you for caring about me. We can have a detailed talk after this is over. Tomorrow, we'll hold a press conference, and I need to focus on preparing for this final battle. After this is settled, we can talk in person. After this is settled, you'll already be in Lu Tingxiao's trap with no way to escape." No, she was already at the bottom of the pit. So what if she knew? What could she do? He couldn't do anything. Also, I'm not just concerned about you. Jiong Mai felt a deep sense of powerlessness. "You go ahead. See you later." Ningxi hung up the phone and felt as if all the strength had been drained from her body. She threw herself onto the bed behind her, looking dazed, with her eyes unfocused, staring at the ceiling above. Until now, she hadn't recovered from Jiong Mai's words, "He kissed you in front of me." Perhaps because actors had strong visual and imaginative abilities, her mind could almost completely reconstruct the scene at that time. Her heart suddenly beat faster. Ningxi took out her phone and quickly sent a WeChat message to Lu Tingxiao. "Boss, I need to memorize the script for the press conference tonight. You don't have to call me for dinner, I'll eat some fruit. I ate too much meat last night, and I'm trying to lose weight. She tried to sound nonchalant. Would he notice anything? Ironically, although she was best at disguising herself, she had no confidence when facing Lu Tingxiao. In the downstairs living room, Lu Tingxiao looked at the WeChat message that Ningxi had just sent. He raised his eyes slightly and glanced in the direction of Ningxi's room. Beside him, Lu Jingli quickly leaned over to sneak a peek, then looked disappointed. Really, my sister-in-law isn't cooking tonight? My anticipation was in vain, so sad. After saying this, he turned his eyes and circled around his big brother, speaking in a meaningful tone. Brother, it seems like that little kid Jiong Mai has been pushed to his limit, huh? He went all out with this information. Lu Tingxiao withdrew his gaze, and his expression resembled the surface of a lake touched by a gentle breeze, rippling for a moment but soon regaining its calmness. He knew that this day would come sooner or later, and he had been waiting for it all along. Although this period had been like walking on thin ice, he had managed to navigate through it without major incidents. The current situation was the best he could have hoped for. Now, all he could do was wait. Watching his elder brother's expression, Lu Jingli couldn't help but worry for him. His elder brother had basically exhausted all his patience and restraint over the past few months. If something went wrong at this point, he couldn't even imagine how his brother would react. Since meeting Ningxi, his brother had truly undergone significant changes. It wasn't an exaggeration to say he had undergone a rebirth. Lu Jingli sincerely hoped his brother wouldn't revert to his old self or become even more formidable. Decision made. Tomorrow, he would go to the temple to pray for his brother. He had to kneel for a bit longer. Ningxi, who had promised to memorize the script, lay on the bed for more than 2 hours with an empty mind. Normally, when she encountered something extremely difficult to solve, she would relieve stress in this way. When even this method failed to ease the pressure, she could only resort to more extreme measures. However, it had been a long time since she had been troubled to this extent. She realized that little Bun hadn't come to find her the whole night. He probably had been told by Lu Tingxiao that she was busy. After memorizing the materials Lin Zhizhi had given her, Ningxi lay on the bed for at least 2 more hours. Her mind was completely empty, not thinking about anything. When she finally got up, she saw that it was almost 10 o'clock according to the wall clock. She had been lying on the bed for too long. At this moment, she suddenly remembered little Bun and decided to check on him. Walking to little Bun's room, she thought he must have already fallen asleep. So, she gently pushed the door open without making a sound. To her surprise, a warm yellow bedside lamp was still on. Little Bun was sitting at the bedside, focused on solving a Rubik's Cube. Lu Tingxiao sat on the edge of the bed, his cold face revealing a trace of helplessness. It's already 10:54. There are 6 minutes left until 11, Lu Tingxiao said. Implicitly, it was late, and he should be going to sleep. Little Bun seemed to ignore him, continuing to concentrate on turning the Rubik's Cube. In just a few seconds, he solved it, with every side showing the same color. Then he scrambled it again, repeating the process tirelessly. Lu Tingxiao picked up a colorful fairy tale book that Ningxi had bought, depicting little rabbits and big bad wolves. He asked with a deadpan expression, "Which story do you want to hear?" Little Bun finally lifted his head and glanced at him with a somewhat disdainful look. Lu Tingxiao pinched his brow and changed to another book, The Prince. Little Bun dismissed it. Lu Tingxiao switched to A Brief History of Time. Little Bun showed no interest. Lu Tingxiao finally gave up, checked his watch, and his face began to darken. It's already 11. Seeing that Lu Tingxiao seemed about to lose his temper, Ningxi hurriedly cleared her throat and knocked on the door. "Little treasure, you're not asleep yet." As soon as she finished speaking, the motionless little Bun turned into a whirlwind and rushed over, expertly hugging her small legs. Looking up with big eyes that seemed capable of emitting sparks, he stared at her. Ningxi covered her chest, indicating that she had been hit by a knowing blow. Seeing Ningxi, Lu Tingxiao revealed a relieved expression. "Done with your work?" "Yeah, almost finished memorizing." Ningxi nodded, sitting on the bed with little Bun and covering him with the blanket. Little Bun immediately reached for the colorful fairy tale book at the bedside that he had just despised, indicating that he wanted her to read. "Continue from where we left off last night?" Ningxi asked. Little Bun scraped the edge of the blanket and nodded obediently. "All right, today let's read Polite Little Rabbit." Ningxi cleared her throat and began telling the story. The hot summer had arrived, and the birds in the trees were chirping, "It's hot, it's hot." The beautiful little white rabbit, dressed in a pretty floral dress, hummed a song as it hopped across a bridge. It was heading to the other side to pick mushrooms. While Ningxi narrated the story, Lu Tingxiao sat on a chair beside them, leaning against his forehead, silently listening to the sweet and tender voice of the girl in the night. He seemed to understand why, despite the childish content, his son insisted on hearing these stories every night. The crucial factor was not the content but the person telling the story. In less than 5 minutes, little Bun was already half asleep. Ningxi gently patted his back, and he quickly fell into a sweet slumber. "Thank you," Lu Tingxiao expressed his gratitude. "No trouble at all," Ningxi said, her expression somewhat emotional. "Lu Tingxiao, do you know? Actually, I used to hate children before." "Hate?" Ningxi nodded, but she didn't reveal the true reason. "Anyway, I just found children annoying and wanted to avoid them. But, I never knew I could like little Bun so much. I can't quite explain what kind of feeling this is. It feels like there's a special connection between us, like fate." Lu Tingxiao looked at her with profound eyes. "In this world, nothing is impossible, it's just that you haven't encountered it yet." Ningxi looked slightly stunned and replied vaguely, "Maybe. It's getting late. I'll go wash up and sleep." "Boss, you should rest early too." "Yeah," Lu Tingxiao nodded. Then, he suddenly leaned towards her. Ningxi was startled and instinctively moved backward. As Lu Tingxiao approached, it seemed like he was going to touch her face. However, he simply leaned over her and kissed little Bun behind her, whispering a soft, "good night." Late at night, as Ningxi slept in a daze, she felt like she had a strange dream. In the dream, Lu Tingxiao sat on the edge of her bed, kissed her lips, and said, "Good night, I love you." Another weird dream. Even though it was obviously a dream, why did it feel so real? At the same time, in Jiong Emperor's view, it was late at night, and Ning Xuelua's apartment was still brightly lit, with a suppressed atmosphere. Changli and Cui Kaijing sat in a corner of the sofa, keeping silent, not daring to make a sound. Things had developed to this point. They couldn't possibly bear the brunt of the anger again, right? Who could have expected that right after Ningxi was kicked out, she would sign with Xingshi Entertainment? If she had signed with any other company, it would have been manageable. For anyone else, the suppression from Starlight Entertainment would ensure they didn't rise. However, it just had to be Xingshi. In the face of Xingshi, the suppression order from Starlight Entertainment was merely a scrap of paper. Changli initially wanted to comfort Ning Xuelua, saying that given Ningxi's current reputation, even Xingshi would find it challenging to turn the tide. However, she couldn't bring herself to say it. After all, this time, even Lu Tingxiao had stepped forward.